This is Brother Rashid, and we are getting ready to go on to our next part, Entertainment, War and Family Values, 2024, Part 2. All right? So, let's start off with the Fatiha. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Malik yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alayhim ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. And the translation for that is, in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Praise be to Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of the worlds, most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee do we worship, and thine aid we seek. Show us the straight way, the way of those on whom thou hast bestowed thy grace, those whose portion is not wrath, and who go not astray. All right. This is information with my YouTube page, my email, if someone wants to contact me. Also, I have over 170 videos on YouTube, and they've been taking them down, some of them. So I also use a couple of other sites as Pt.2 and Daily Motion. All right, so we'll start off with some warm-ups. All right, use the brain teasers. And what I'll do, I'll give it a couple of minutes and see if you can solve it, and then I will move to the next one. We can kind of go from there. All right. So this first brain teaser, because we want to get the mind pumping, getting the brain ready for some of this information. It says, how do you make the number 7 even without addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? How do you make the number 7 even without addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? All right. Give a little think time. All right. In order to make the number 7 even without using addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division, you would have to just drop the 7. So if you drop the 7, it is the word even. The word even. All right. Here we go. The next thing is a couple of problems, but we'll go past that since don't have too many participants. But right here, I want to show you something. This is they study the human mind. This system studies the human mind, and I want you to check this out. All right.
Watch this next sequence carefully. At the end, I'll ask you a question about what you've seen.
Hi, I'm Magic Singh, and today we're in Portobello Road, and I'm going to show you guys a classic in magic, using matches. And today to help me out is Mark. Mark, I'll tell you what, place your hand up for me nice and flat. Now, I promise this won't hurt, alright? So here's the idea. Let's just lighten this up, and if you close onto that nice and tight, here we go, watch this.
Keep watching.
I don't know if you felt that or not. I'll tell you what, have a look inside. Open it up. See how the match is actually returned into the book, and it's still burnt. Okay, you're not impressed. All right, it was my first trick ever. But here's the idea. Just place that back in your hand, close it tight, and turn it face down again if you can. Now we're going to use one more thing, and we're going to use a magician's best friend, playing cards. Now the idea is really simple. You're going to choose one. So take anyone you like. Perfect. Have a look for yourself, and do me a favour, show the camera as well if you can. Brilliant. And you know what? Place it back face up on the deck. Now, it doesn't matter if I see what the card is, because we're going to do something completely different. Just watch this. Here we go. I'll do it slowly. Watch the king. I don't know if you felt that or not. Tell you what, have a look inside. Open it up. Check it out.
It's the King of Diamonds. That's my card.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Very much.
Did you watch the trick closely? This is a famous illusion called inattention blindness. This illusion is not about the magic. While watching the routine, you may or may not have noticed the changes taking place. The question is, How many changes did you see? Was there 1, were there 3, or were there 5?
All right. So how many changes you think it was there, brother?
I only saw one.
You only saw one.
Yeah.
All right. What changes did you see?
The card from his hand that wasn't in his hand before.
Okay. All right. But now watch.
The answer is there were 3 changes.
So it was 3 changes. All right. But let's see if we.
You know what? I think that cloth in his pocket turned green.
You think it's handkerchief?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's handkerchief.
This handkerchief turned green. All right.
So there might be 2. Yeah, it could be another one that I didn't notice.
All right. Well, let's see. Okay.
The first change was the red hanky to a green one.
So that was 1. That was 1.
The second was his shirt swapping to a t-shirt.
Now they
The
actually
last was
they had changed his t-shirt to a collared shirt. All right. And the last one,
his assistant becoming a completely different person.
they swapped out.
How
the
many
person.
did you see? So why is it that
So why don't you think we saw the changes?
We were so busy concentrating on his hand and the card.
In the magic trick.
Yeah, trick.
Right.
We didn't see anything else around that.
Absolutely. And like in the instance I showed you yesterday, it's the same thing. All right. So they have you so focused, the system has you so focused on unimportant things that you miss what's really going on. All right.
you didn't see these big changes? And the reason is that the brain receives so much information on its eyes that you can't see everything simultaneously. So instead it picks and chooses according to what it thinks is important. If you change something that it doesn't think is important, you just literally don't see it.
All right.
Is that mic working?
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on to this. All right, so this should, all right, so this is the American Indian brother that we listened to yesterday, all right? And from then on, I want to put this verse from the Quran on. It says, Quran Surah and now chapter 16, verse 36. For we assuredly sent amongst every people a messenger with the command, serve Allah and eschew evil. Of the people were some whom Allah guided and some whom error became inevitably established. So travel through the earth and see what was the end of those who denied truth. And we have already sent messengers before you. Among them are those whose stories we have related to you, and among them are those whose stories we have not related to you. So there are prophets and messengers that we don't know about. Okay? And it was not for any messenger to bring a sign or verse except by permission of Allah. So when the command of Allah comes, it will be concluded in truth, and the falsifiers will thereupon lose all. All right. So now I want you to listen to a recording, and this is from 1965. All right. And this is a man named Paul Harvey.
If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree, thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of the serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth, I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who want it until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure.
1965.
In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
So what did y'all think about that?
19 when?
65.
Oh my God!
Everything he said is right now.
Going on.
Every single thing, right?
Who was that?
That's it was a radio guy named Paul Harvey.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, Paul Harvey.
Yeah, I remember Paul Harvey.
So this, y'all, I'm telling you, this is a plan. This system is a very wicked system, and it's not man's plan. It is Shaitan's plan, and he's carrying it out through his whispers to those who disbelieve. Right?
By design.
What is the Greek word for devil? Anybody know? All right, Greek word. The word for devil in Greek is diabolos. Diabolos. Okay? Diabolos means slanderer or calumniator. All right? And let's look at it also slander, right? So, diabolos, slanderous, accusing falsely. Slanderous, accusing falsely. Slanderous with the article, the slander par excellence, the devil. All right? A person who slanders someone damages their reputation by making a false spoken statement about them. Diabolos. To slander, accuse, defame, properly, a slanderer, a false accuser, unjustly criticizing, to hurt, malign, and condemn, to sever a relationship. All right? And it's very interesting when Shaitan tells Allah that he will misguide man, right? But not only misguide man, it's a deeper meaning. He wants to sever the relationship between man and Allah. Okay? He wants to sever the relationship. And in many cases, he's done that, right? Now, this is a phoenix, all right? And it says a phoenix. In ancient Greek folklore, a phoenix is a long-lived bird that cyclically regenerates or is otherwise born again, associated with the sun. A phoenix obtains new life by arising from the ashes of its predecessor. Some legends say it dies in a show of flames and combustion. Others that it simply dies and decomposes before being born again. This is what's happening in this country. This country is being destroyed. All right? And they want to rebuild it in their own image, in this new image. All right? So, you can see a lot of the symbology on the dollar bill. Right? You had a lot of strange stuff going on here. But under it, you see here, written in Latin, Novus Ordo Seclorum. And that means new order of the world. So they're trying to create this new world order. All right? There's a lot of symbols on this dollar bill. Like here, they have a eagle with a ribbon in its mouth, and it says, E pluribus unum. Out of many, one. So out of many countries, one. One world government. All right? This is an occultist. And the occult is very heavily in our society. This woman's name, her name is Alice Bailey. All right? And she was the student of a woman named Madame Blavatsky. All right? But this was their 10-point strategy for a new world order. The first one was take God and prayer out of the education system, which we see happen. Now, this plan was made around the time of World War II. Okay? It says reduce parental authority over children. And this is what they did. Right? Destroy the traditional Christian family structure. All right? Then, if sex is free, make abortion legal and easy. And we're seeing all of this taking place. Make divorce easy and legal. Free people from the concept of marriage for life. Okay? Everything goes against the guidance that Allah has given us, right? Make homosexuality an alternative lifestyle. Okay? Debase art and make it run mad. So they debased the arts, corrupted the arts. Use media to promote and change mindset. Okay? This is definitely happening. Then it has another problem, create an interfaith movement. I don't see anything wrong with creating an interfaith movement because that's the way that we see our similarities and don't focus on our differences.
Well, the law tells us that.
Right.
We're in agreement, about the law.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Absolutely. The last one was get governments to make all these laws and get the church to endorse these changes. And you see the church is promoting homosexuality. Okay? But now, let's go into a little more of a description of this.
Guido von List believed in renouncing Christianity and returning to the pagan religions of the ancient Europeans. And Hitler himself is quoted as saying, "The old beliefs will be brought back again. The whole secret knowledge of nature, of the divine, of the demonic. We will wash off the Christian veneer and bring out a religion peculiar to our race." Notice Hitler said, we will wash off the Christian veneer. A veneer is a cover or a disguise with an attractive appearance. This was the type of Christianity that Hitler had. It was a disguise of Madame Blavatsky's occult successor, Alice A. Bailey, the founder of Lucis Trust, an occult organization that currently has its headquarters within the United Nations.
Now, Lucis Trust was originally called Lucifer's Trust. And they changed it, okay?
The objectives of this organization, Lucis Trust, have been codified and embodied in the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights and in the United Nations Charter. Alice A. Bailey, the founder of the occult organization Lucis Trust, developed 10 strategies to establish a new world order. These strategies are, number 1, push God out of the schools. If the people grow up without reference to God, then they will consider God irrelevant to day-to-day life. In the last 50 years, this has happened. God is irrelevant to most people. Number 2, break the traditional Judeo-Christian family concept. Break communication between parents and children so that parents can't pass on spiritual values to their children. Do this by pushing excessive child rights.
And you see that in the schools.
Yes.
I mean, you can't, the parent can't even come up and discipline their child. Okay? For fear they're going to call DHS on them and they take their children away, right?
Number 3, remove restrictions on sex. Sex is the biggest joy, and Christianity robs people of this. People must be freed to enjoy it without restrictions. It's not just for married, it's for everybody.
So you see this stuff happening. This is all by design.
Number 4, since sex is the greatest expression of man's enjoyment of life, man must be free to express sex in all its forms. Homosexuality, orgies, even bestiality are desirable so long as no one is being abused or harmed.
And this is what they're pushing through their programming. Okay? It's all throughout their program.
Number 5, people must be free to abort unwanted children. If a man can have sex and then live without the consequences, then the same should be true for a woman too. A woman must have the right to abort an unwanted child. No.
All Shaitan. All this is from Shaitan. Okay? Because he wants to sever the relationship between man and Allah. All right? He wants to prove to Allah that we are not worthy of the position that he's given us. So this would definitely sever that relationship.
Number 6, every person develops soul bonds. So when a soul bond wears out, a person must be free to divorce. When one starts to grow, one must be free to get together with that person, even if they are married. Number 7, diffuse religious radicalism. Christianity says Jesus is the only way. Diffuse this by A, silencing Christianity, and B, promoting other faiths, the creation of interfaith harmony.
Now, this is something that we have to discuss, all right? But not yet at this time, all right? Because I want to...
Number 8, use the media to influence mass opinion. Create mass opinion that is receptive to these values by using TV, film, the press, etc. Note well, what Western believers call normal in the African church would be pornography. Number 9, debase art in all its forms, corrupt music, painting, poetry, and every expression of the heart, and make it obscene, immoral, and occultic. Debase the arts in every way possible. And number 10, get the church to endorse every one of these 9 strategies. Get the church to accept these principles and to say they're okay. Then legal ground is given for these values to get a foothold.
All right? What y'all think?
That's
This is what we're seeing.
Guido von List believed in renouncing Christianity and returning to...
She wrote these commandments around the time of World War II, I think. Okay? But this is very
show
interesting.
you how far along these people's plans, like,
Yeah.
decades and decades, in advance.
Now,
Working their plan.
Working the plan. This is Quran chapter 36, verse 77. Doth not man see that it is we who created him from sperm? Yet behold, he stands forth as an open adversary. Very deep, right? An adversary, a person or group or force that opposes or attacks an opponent, enemy, or foe. A person, group, etc. that is an opponent in a contest or contestant. The adversary, the devil, or Satan or Shaitan. All right? Now, really, there is no adversary to Allah, right? But this is how he is described. So, one year I was talking to some other teachers, and this one brother, they would call me a conspiracy theorist. All right? When I showed him this piece is from a movie called The Rope. This is from Alfred Hitchcock. All right? But listen, once you listen to this, you'll see the mentality of this elite. Okay? So, check this out.
Wow. Is it all over?
I'm afraid so, Rupert.
Oh, what a pity. In another moment, you might have been strangling each other instead of a chicken.
Mr. Goodell, really?
No, but a man's honor was at stake. And personally, I think a chicken is as good a reason for murder as a blonde, a mattress full of dollar bills, or any of the customary unimaginative reasons.
Well, now, you don't really approve of murder, Rupert, if I may.
You may, and I do. Think of the problems it would solve. Unemployment, poverty, standing in line for theater tickets.
I must say I've had a perfectly dreadful time getting tickets for that new musical. What's it called? You know.
The something with what's her name? My dear Miss Adwire, careful application of the trigger finger and a pair of seats in the first row is yours for the shooting. And have you had any difficulty in getting into our velvet rope restaurants?
Frightful.
A very simple matter. A flick of the knife, madame, and if you'll kindly step this way, a step over the head waiter's body. Thank you. And here's your table.
Rupert, you're the end.
There's a hotel clerk I could cheerfully flick a knife at.
Oh, no, sorry. Knives may not be used on hotel employees. They are in the death by slow torture category.
Oh.
Along with bird lovers, small children, and tap dancers. Landlords, of course, are another matter. You seeking an apartment? Call on our Miss Sashwaite of the Blunt Instrument Department.
Oh, it's a divine idea. If it suits your purpose merely. But then we'd all be murdering each other.
Oh, no. Oh, no. After all, murder is, or should be, an art. Not one of the seven lively, perhaps, but an art, nevertheless. And as such, the privilege of committing it should be reserved for those few who are really superior individuals.
And the victims, inferior beings whose lives are unimportant anyway.
Obviously. Now, mind you, I don't hold with the extremists who feel that there should be open season for murder all year round. No. Personally, I would prefer to have cut a throat week or strangulation day.
Probably a symptom of approaching senility, but I must confess I really don't appreciate this morbid humor.
Well, the humor was unintentional.
You're not serious about these theories.
Of course he is.
So you're both pulling my leg.
No, why do you think that?
Well, Brandon, the notion that murder is an art which a few superior beings should be allowed to practice.
In season.
Now, I know you're not serious.
But I am. I'm a very serious fellow.
Then may I ask, who is to decide that human being is inferior and is therefore a suitable victim for murder?
The few who are privileged to commit murder.
And just who might they be?
Oh, myself. Philip. Possibly Rupert. I'm sorry, Kenneth, you're out.
Gentlemen, I'm serious.
So are we, Mr. Catley. The few are those men of such intellectual and cultural superiority that they're above the traditional moral concepts.
Moral concept.
Sounds like that movie, The Purge.
Right, exactly.
Right.
But the thing is that these people feel this way. They feel like they're above the normal people, okay? And they can commit murder. That's why they have no problem creating these genocides.
Yeah.
Okay?
Like Soylent Green, remember that?
Yeah. Soylent Green, yeah.
Good and evil, right and wrong, were invented for the ordinary average man, the inferior man, because he needs them.
But obviously you agree with Nietzsche and his theory of the Superman.
Yes, I do.
So did Hitler.
So they feel as though they are not under the moral law. Okay? If a person doesn't believe in God, a person doesn't believe in the law, they are capable of any and everything. Okay? And this is why we see what we're seeing in our society. Because they feel as though they are God. Okay?
Hitler was a paranoid savage. His Supermen, all fascist Supermen, were brainless murderers. I'd hang any who were left. But then you see, I'd hang them first for being stupid. I'd hang all incompetents and fools anyway. There are far too many in the world.
Then perhaps you should hang me, Brendan, for I confess I'm so stupid I don't know whether you're all serious or not. But in any case, I'd rather not hear any more of your, forgive me, contempt for humanity and for the standards of a world that I believe is civilized.
Civilized?
Yes.
Perhaps what is called civilization is hypocrisy.
Perhaps.
Well, I'm sure Rupert, fortunately, has the intelligence and imagination.
Please, Brendan, I think we've had just about enough.
So this is how these people feel. This is how they operate. Okay.
What's the name of this movie?
This was called The Rope. It's an old Alfred Hitchcock movie. And you find a lot of information in a lot of the old movies. Okay. Go ahead, good brother.
And I just happened to I was reading Quran and I came across this ayat. This is Surah 6, ayat 123. And thus we have made in every great city ones of its wicked ones, great ones of its wicked ones, that they should plot therein. But they do plot only against themselves, but they perceive it not. And that's just like these people here.
Right. And the thing is that, like Imam Shabazz was saying yesterday, we have to purify our souls. It's very important for us to purify our souls and stay away from the wickedness of the shaitan. All right? But the thing, because we're going to get into a couple of some very interesting things here. But this is a quote from Lawrence of Arabia. It says, "The dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible." Okay? This Justice William O. Douglas says, "As nightfall does not come all at once, neither does oppression. In both instances, there is a twilight when everything remains seemingly unchanged. And it is in such a twilight that we all must be most aware of change in the air. However slightless, we become unwitting victims of the darkness." Naomi Wolf, this is a woman who did a lot of research on the RFID chips and the surveillance and stuff. She says, "I hope we wake up quickly because history shows us a small window in which people can fight back before it is too dangerous to fight back." Okay? Because we are headed into some things that people have no idea of what's about to happen. Okay? What is the logo for the Apple computer?
Bitten apple.
Bitten apple. All right? The people that design these things are occultists. Okay? And it goes back to the story of Adam and Eve. All right? The bitten apple. Why isn't it just an apple? Why is it a bitten apple? Because, like I tell you, these people are occultists. And the occult is heavy in our society. But now watch. How much do you think the first Apple computer was priced at? I just give y'all a quick glance. But it was $666.66. The first Apple computer that went on sale, this is how much it cost. Right. So it's all, look it up. Don't take anything I say as word. Okay? Check it out. All right? And a lot of this technology is what we call digital heroin. Everybody's addicted to it. Okay? Especially our children. They can't put it down. But we can't put it down either. As adults. All right? And they're doing a lot of programming through the technology. It's digital heroin. How screens turn kids into psychotic junkies. We now know that those iPads, smartphones, and Xboxes are a form of a digital drug. Recent brain imaging research is showing that they affect the brain's frontal cortex, which controls executive functioning, including impulse control, in exactly the same way that cocaine does. Technology is so hyper-arousing that it raises dopamine levels, the feel-good neurotransmitter most involved in the addiction dynamic, as much as sex. This addictive effect is why Dr. Pt.2, director of neuroscience at UCLA, calls screens electronic cocaine. And Chinese researchers call them digital heroin. In fact, Dr. Andrew Doran, the head of addiction research for the Pentagon and the U.S. Navy, who has been researching video game addiction, calls video games and screen technologies digital pharmakeia, Greek for drug. Okay? But now, I mean, it's so crazy because I saw a video where they talked about, they were showing in an Asian country where these kids were getting so addicted to it, where they would go to what they call these gaming cafes. And a gaming cafe, you can go spend all day there, you know, playing games and stuff. People would put on Pampers and go there so they wouldn't have to go to the restaurant.
That's disgusting.
But it shows you how strong and powerful the addiction is.
Look at the situation that just happened last week. The young man that got killed up here on Ogon.
Yeah.
It was due to a fight on social media. And the ones that went up on Cotton Avenue and retaliated, all of it stemmed from some conflict word said on social media. So you went and killed one, and then they shot up 8 others.
Yeah. But this is how bad it's getting. But we're going to really analyze it, y'all. But here we go. This is a young man who his parents took his video game. He was playing this game all day long, 17 hours a day. Ooh. All right? They took the game and they hid it. So he came to him and he asked him, he said, you know, where's the video game? So they didn't tell him where it was at. So he went around the house, started trying to find it. He couldn't find it, but he found the father's gun. Okay? He came back to the living room. He said, close your eyes, I have a surprise for y'all. When they closed their eyes, he shot both of them. He killed his mother and injured his father. All right? But here's the story.
Take me through today, everything that was going on. I was sitting in my room, and then my dad was just yelling, just screaming at my mom. My dad walked into his bedroom, and then walked back out, and then I heard a gunshot.
This is his story.
I ran out there, and my mom had been shot. He pointed the gun at me. And then he said he was sorry, and then he shot himself.
You know, we've all been around somebody who they're kind of boo-hooing, but they're not crying. And there's a difference. And in a situation where somebody just witnessed their father shoot their mother and shoot themselves, it's very emotional, it's very traumatic. But there wasn't the emotion you typically see in a severe crime scene.
Okay.
I'm sure every parent is shocked to hear about a teenager who tries to avoid responsibility by making up a story. I've never heard of that before. It's not realizing the consequences of their behavior, having this fantasy life that a good story will get them out of it, and that is a function of adolescence.
The plan that I had formulated to make it look like my father had done all this was not plausible. It wasn't even realistic.
I was in the hospital for, I think, 30 days. They did 5 surgeries on me. Reconstruction surgeries to my eye socket, the roof of my mouth, my jaw, just all kinds of stuff. I couldn't stop thinking about what happened that night. And the more I thought about it, the more I wanted to kill him.
A murder's a big story. And so everybody was very interested in Danny Petrie.
And he was a minister. Oh. Okay.
There were headlines about it, and there was a big desire to see him punished. There were even calls for the death penalty.
What he did was decided to kill both parents, his mother Susan Petrick and his father Mark Petrick.
The prosecutor said he thought out an action, he thought out a plan. He enacted that action and that plan. It wasn't an incident that occurred and I have no idea why, and now I'm just standing here saying I'm sorry I did it.
At first, I was angry. I was angry as hell. You know, he killed his mom, my wife. But in the courtroom, I was feeling a lot of love, and I do believe in forgiveness. And I wanted to see him have a second chance of life.
There's an element of love that enables a parent to forgive. Being a father, being a mother, being a biological child is stronger than the law.
Andy is now facing the very serious consequences of what he did on October 20th, 2007. I can't count the number of times he has told me that he's so sorry for what he did and he'll never be able to forgive himself. I can't count the number of times that he said, Dad, I miss Mom. I miss Mom.
It is hard to go see him in prison. It's very difficult when he could have had such a life ahead of him.
If there's one thing that you miss most about freedom, what is it?
I miss everything about being free. I miss being able to open my door if I choose to. I miss just the little things, you know, that we don't fully understand that have value until.
So I'm gonna stop this right here. But the stuff that this stuff in the system is doing to our children is horrible. Our children are turning into monsters. Okay? They're destroying them mentally and spiritually. Okay? But now, this is from school. Okay? The kids go to gaming, little educational game sites, but they throw commercials like this one. Am I gay? LGBTQ quiz. It just pops up on the screen. You're on a site called Cool Math, and this is what's popping up. Okay? So it's a game. Woo! It's
They are diabolical.
diabolical.
Yes.
All right? Division through religion and racism. We must strengthen the community of believers. This wicked system magnifies our differences and minimalizes our similarities. The Quran chapter 2 verse 62. Those who believe in the Quran and those who follow the Jewish scriptures and the Christians and the Sabians and who believe in Allah in the last day and work righteousness shall have their reward with their Lord. On them shall be no fear, nor shall they grieve. We as a community of believers should be working together. Okay? And let Allah judge on us on the day of judgment. But we need to come together because we're facing the same enemy, okay, which is Shaitan. Quran chapter 30, verse 22. And among his signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the variations in your languages and your colors. Verily in that are signs for those who know. Allah doesn't worry about what color we are. He created those differences in us. All right? O mankind, we created you from a single pair of a male and a female, and made you into nations and tribes, that ye may know each other, not that ye may despise each other. Verily the most honored of you in the sight of Allah is he who is the most righteous among you. And Allah has full knowledge and is well acquainted with all things. So Allah is concerned with our righteousness, not our color. That's just division from Shaitan. Now, I'm going to take a little detour in our discussion because yesterday we talked about racism. And I think it's very important for you to see a little bit of this video that I have coming up. So Allah says not to despise, I don't want you to despise each other, right? So we can despise, it means to regard with contempt, distaste, disgust, or disdain, scorn or loathe, to look down on with contempt, all right, or scorn, all right? So Allah doesn't want us, He didn't make us different colors for us to do that, okay? But now, here we go. This is a documentary called A Class Divided. I'm going to show you just a teeny bit of this, because if you see this and you see what happens, you'll understand the dynamic of racism, okay? You have to remember that the first case of racism was shown to us in the Quran when it talked about Iblis, right? It told him to bow down to Adam. He said, no, I'm not bowing down to him because I'm made of smokeless fire. He was made of dirt or earth. I'm not bowing to him. I'm better than him. So Shaitan is using the same thing that got him to kicked out to put on us. But watch this, y'all. This is very interesting. Now this teacher, her name
You're going
was,
to say that today.
Her name was Jane.
States.
So she has this. She was older from when she did the experiment, but she brings her the classmates. They have a reunion and they watch the video over. Watch this, y'all. This is powerful. All right.
Home, sweet home. This is a special week. Does anybody know what it is? National Brotherhood. National Brotherhood Week. What's brotherhood? Be kind to your brothers. Be kind to your brothers. Like you would like to be treated. Treat everyone the way you would like to be treated. Treat everyone as though he was your brother. And is there anyone in this United States that we do not treat as our brothers? Yes. Who? The black people. Who else?
Now wait a minute. Let me give you a little bit more background as to why she did this. She did this experiment after the death of Martin Luther King, after he was assassinated. Okay. But now some information came out about the assassination of King that a lot of people don't know. They don't know that he did not die from the gunshot. They killed him in the hospital. They smothered him. Right. And and you don't, right, they don't talk about that because the family won a court case about it. All right. A civil case. So they don't really talk about it. But now let's continue on this.
Absolutely, the Indians. And when many people see a black person or a yellow person or a red person, what do they think? Look at that. They look at the dumb people. What else do they think sometimes? What kinds of things do they say about black people? They're niggers. In the city, many places in the United States, how are black people treated? How are Indians treated?
Now, wait a minute. Can we blame these children for what they're saying? No. Because when you come into this world as a baby, you're innocent. You learn this world from your parents and the environment. Okay? But now watch, let's continue.
How are people who are of a different color than we are treated?
They're part of this world. They don't get anything of this world.
Why is that?
Because they're different colors.
You think you know how it would feel to be judged by the color of your skin? Yeah. Do you think you do? No, I don't think you'd know how that felt unless you had been through it, would you? It might be interesting to judge people today by the color of their eyes. Would you like to try this? Yeah. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? Since I'm the teacher and I have blue eyes, I think maybe the blue-eyed people should be on top the first day. I mean, the blue-eyed people are the better people in this room. Oh, yes, they are. Blue-eyed people are smarter than brown-eyed people.
My dad isn't that stupid.
Is your dad brown-eyed?
Yeah.
One day you came to school and you told us that he kicked you.
He did.
Do you think a blue-eyed father would kick his son? Yeah. My dad's blue-eyed. He's never kicked me. Greg's dad is blue-eyed. He's never kicked him. Rex's dad is blue-eyed. He's never kicked him. This is a fact. Blue-eyed people are better than brown-eyed people. Are you brown-eyed or blue-eyed? No. Why are you shaking your head? I don't know. Are you sure that you're right? Why? What makes you so sure that you're right? I don't know. The blue-eyed people get 5 extra minutes of recess.
So she starts giving them all of these privileges. The blue-eyed kids get all of these privileges, okay? And she talks to them real nice. But the brown eyes she talked down on and everything, all right? Now watch.
The brown-eyed people have to stay in. The brown-eyed people do not get to use the drinking fountain. You'll have to use the paper cups. You brown-eyed people are not to play with the blue-eyed people on the playground because you are not as good as blue-eyed people. Well, the brown-eyed people in this room today are going to wear collars so that we can tell from a distance what color your eyes are. On page 127, 127. Everyone ready? Everyone but Laurie. Ready, Laurie? She's a brown-eyed. You'll begin to notice today that we spend a great deal of time waiting for brown-eyed people. The yardstick's gone. Well, okay. I don't see the yardstick. Do you?
Hey, Mr. You better keep that on your desk so if the brown people get out of hand.
Oh! You think if the brown-eyed people get out of hand, that would be the thing to use?
You see this? They were all friends, right? She said, I can't find my yardstick. Where my yardstick at? He said, oh, it's over there on your desk. He said, but you might want to keep it on that desk just in case some of these brown eyes get out of hand.
Have to whack them up.
Right. But these were their friends. So you start to see the dynamic of power and privilege and what it does to people. Right? But now watch.
Who goes first to lunch? The blue-eyed people. No brown-eyed people go back for seconds. Blue-eyed people may go back for seconds. Brown-eyed people do not.
Brown-eyed.
Don't you know?
They're not smart.
Man.
Is that the only reason?
You see that girl?
Look at their little faces.
You see how dejected she is and defeated? Okay?
Take too much. Might take too much. Okay, quietly.
Now, what I want you to focus on, this is in the afternoon. They're out at recess. But I want you to listen carefully to what the children say about how they feel. Okay? Because this is a microcosm of society. Okay?
And it seemed like when we were down on the bottom, everything bad was happening to us. The way they treated you, you felt like you didn't even want to try to do anything. It seemed like Mrs. Elliott was taking our best friends away from us.
What happened at recess? Were two of you boys fighting?
Yeah, Russell and John were.
What happened, John?
Russell called me names and I hit him in the gut.
He said he punched Russell in the gut. Because he was calling them names. What name do you think he called him? Brown.
He meant that. Punched him in the gut.
What did he call you?
Brown eyes.
You call him brown eyes?
They always call us that. You want to get all the they always call us brown eyes. And they were calling us blue eyes. I wasn't. Sandy and Don were. Yeah.
What's wrong with being called brown eyes?
stupid or like that. Oh, that's just the same way as other people call black people niggers.
So he's getting it. Right? He's getting it.
Yeah. Is that the reason you hit him, John? Did it help? Did it stop him? Did it make you feel better inside? Make you feel better inside? Did it make you feel better to call him Brown Eyes? Why do you suppose you...
Now pay attention to this boy, all right? Very important to pay attention to him. But here we go.
You call him Brown Eyes?
Right, because he has brown eyes.
Is that the only reason? He didn't call him Brown Eyes yesterday, and he had brown eyes yesterday. Didn't he?
Because we just know that. Ever since you put those blue things on the tease him. Can't tease him.
Oh, is this teasing?
No. Well, he did it.
Were you doing it for fun, to be funny, or were you doing it to be mean? I don't know. Don't ask me. Did he...
Tease him. Can't tease him.
Oh, is this teasing?
No. Well, he did it.
Were you doing it for fun, to be funny, or were you doing it to be mean? I don't know. Don't ask me. Did anyone laugh at you when you did it?
I watched what had been marvelous, cooperative, wonderful, thoughtful children turn into nasty, vicious, discriminating little third graders in a space of 15 minutes.
15 minutes. That's all it took. Wow. But now watch this, y'all. Let me show you an example of this. Y'all remember when we were kids and they had the school safeties. Right? Remember school safeties? Right. Somebody else I thought they said the same thing.
I was a captain.
Yeah. Right. So the school safeties felt that they were better than the other students. Right? Because they had they had that badge on, right? And they thought they were better because they were given power and privilege. Okay? Now, the only thing that prevents that abuse of power and privilege, if you are a strong believer in God and you have morals and values about it. Okay? If you have that purity of the soul, like Imam Jabez talked about, right? From yesterday.
Yesterday, I told you that brown-eyed people aren't as good as blue-eyed people. That wasn't true. I lied to you yesterday. The truth is that brown-eyed people are better than blue-eyed people. Russell, where are your glasses?
I forgot them.
You forgot them. And what color are your eyes?
Blue.
Susan Ginder has brown eyes. She didn't forget her glasses.
Yeah.
So why do you think he forgot his glasses?
Everybody see them eyes.
Say it again. So you can clearly see his eyes. So you could clearly see what was giving him his what? Power and privilege. Okay?
Slick with it.
This thing is so sensitive.
Russell Ring has blue eyes, and what about his glasses? He forgot them. Yesterday we were visiting, and Greg said, "Boy, I like to hit my little sister as hard as I can. That's fun." What does that tell you about blue-eyed people?
They're naughty. They fight a lot.
The brown-eyed people may take off their collars, and each of you may put your collar on a blue-eyed person. The brown-eyed people get 5 extra minutes of recess. You blue-eyed people are not allowed to be on the playground at any time. You blue-eyed people are not to play with the brown-eyed people. Brown-eyed people are better than blue-eyed people. They're smarter than blue-eyed people. And if you don't believe it, look at Brian. Do blue-eyed people know how to sit in a chair? Very sad. Very, very sad. Who can tell me what contraction should be in the first sentence? Go to the board and write it, John. Come on, let's do it again. Loosen up. Up, up, up. Come on. That's better. Now, do you know how to make a W? Okay, write the contraction for we are. Now that's beautiful writing. Is that better? Yeah. Brown-eyed people learn fast, don't they? Boy, do brown-eyed people learn fast. Very good. Greg, what did you do with that cup? Will you please go and get that cup and put your name on it and keep it at your desk? Blue-eyed people are wasteful. Okay, want to be timed this morning?
Yeah. A.
I use Orton Gillingham Phonics. We use the card pack. And the children, the brown-eyed children, were in the low class the first day, and it took them 5.5 minutes to get through the card pack. The second day, it took them 2.5 minutes.
So you hear that? Their academics went up.
Wow.
Because they were given that power and privilege. And their self-esteem was strong and high. So this is why it's important never to let somebody control your perception of reality, especially your perception of yourself. Right? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
The only thing that had changed was the fact that now they were superior people.
You went faster than I ever had anyone go through the card pack. Why couldn't you get them yesterday?
We had collars on.
You think the collars kept you?
Just keep thinking about the collars.
Oh.
I kept getting rolling around.
Oh, and you couldn't think as well with the collars on. 4 minutes and 8.
So what you think happened to the blue-eyed kids now?
I have a feeling.
Yeah.
Right?
Now.
Right? Here we go.
15 seconds.
I know we were going to make it.
How long did it take you yesterday?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. How long did it take you today?
4 minutes and 18 seconds.
What happened?
Window.
Why? What were you thinking of?
This.
I hate today.
You do, I hate too.
Because I'm blue-eyed.
See, I am too.
There's nothing, it's not funny, it's not fun, it's not pleasant. This is a filthy, nasty word called discrimination. We're treating people a certain way because they are different from the rest of us. Is that fair?
No.
Nothing fair about it. We didn't say this was going to be a fair day, did we?
No.
And it isn't. It's a horrid day. You ready? What did you blue people who are wearing blue collars now find out today?
Oh, yeah. I know what they felt like yesterday.
I did too. How did they feel yesterday?
Like a dog on a leash. Yeah. It feels like a chain wherever you go. Into prison. Like you're chaining up into prison. Like a shark and you're throwing the key away.
Should the color of some other person's eyes have anything to do with how you treat them?
No.
All right, then should the color of their skin?
No.
Should you judge people
No.
by the color of their skin?
No.
You're going to say that today and this week and probably all the time you're in this room. You'll say, no, Mrs. Ellie.
No.
Every time I ask that question.
No.
Then,
No, Mrs.
when you see a black man or an Indian or someone walking down the street, are you going to say, look at that silly looking thing? No. Does it make any difference whether their skin is black or white? No. Or yellow? No. Or red? No. Is that how you decide whether people are good or bad? No. Is that what makes people good or bad? No. Let's take these collars off.
You'd have to sort
Here, Mr. Valley, what would you like to do with them?
Throw them away.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Don't eat them like
Now you know a little bit more.
So now they could just take off and discard what was causing their oppression.
Exactly.
We can't do that. Okay? And the thing is that I know a lot of people still say, oh, yeah, white people the devil. No. It's about power and privilege. It corrupts people unless you have strong morals and values. You're a believer in Allah. All right, so I guess we'll stop there.
You can pause.
Pause.
It's going to be about 15 minutes.
15 minutes between. Okay.
No, I know.
So the thing is, this system has set up a way to keep us divided. And all they did was give whites power and privilege over everybody else.
Yeah, giving out them collars.
Yeah, giving out the collars, right?
Man.
More than you knew at the beginning of this week? A lot. Do you know a little bit more than you wanted to?
Yes.
This isn't an easy way to learn this, is it? Okay, now let's all sit down here together. Blue eyes and brown eyes. Does it make any difference what color you are? No. Down, girl. Get back. Okay, ready to listen now? Okay, now are you back? Yes. That feel better? Yes. Does the color of eyes that you have make any difference in the kind of person you are? No.
So imagine if mankind took this as what the Father. Okay.
Do they still have that National Brotherhood Week?
Never. No, I don't know. That's a good question.
What happened to it?
What happened to it?
That's weird.
All right. But I have to reiterate, the designers of this system, this is intentional. All right. This is what they want so that we can never come together. All right. So what happens when they do this, the brown-eyed kids became what they call marginalized. All right? So let's look at marginal. Not considered central or important, insignificant, minor, or small. Marginalized, to relegate to the fringes, out of the mainstream, to make seem unimportant. And this is very dangerous. Even when you look back at the case of Hotel Rwanda and the genocide that took place in Rwanda. Watch, I mean, you've seen this, then watch Hotel Rwanda and see it's the same game where they pitted these Africans against each other for the shape of their nose, for their height, their complexion. Yeah. And there was almost 1 million people murdered in that genocide. And at first, nobody was helping. None of the big superpowers were helping. And the guy from the UN told the guy, Paul, who was the hotel manager, who was, you know, protecting a lot of refugees, he said, "You're dirt." He said, "They see you as dirt." Ooh. Okay? So, and the thing is that he said, in his conversation with them, he said, we don't even see you as niggers. We see, he said, "You're worse than niggers." Okay? And that's what he said to the Africans, right? Now, when we talk about marginalized, right? Here is a movie, and you all probably remember this scene. This is from The Godfather, the meeting of the 5 families, right? So listen to what they said. And this movie won awards.
Remember what they
Okay?
said.
But look.
Yeah. Is that when you were talking about the drugs selling?
All the other associates who came as far as from California. I don't know. But I'm willing to let things go on the way that
His pocket. He refused to share them.
I think that most people want nowadays, and it's forbidden to them.
We can do anything we want. A refusal is not the act of a friend.
Yeah. And as a reasonable man, I'm willing to do whatever.
Well, actually, with it, because I can't even find a spot where I marked it off in. But basically what he said was, they were talking about selling drugs.
Yeah.
And they were talking about the places where they didn't want it sold. But he said, put it in the dark people's.
Sell it to them.
Yeah. He said they're animals anyway, so let them lose their soul. Okay.
Yeah.
The Godfather, the meeting of the 5 families, marginalization of black people seen from the Godfather movie. The meeting of the 5 families, where they discuss the selling of drugs in the black community. They're animals anyway, so let them lose their souls. And remember, this movie won awards, okay? But that's what happens when you become a marginalized people. Who just recently was marginalized?
Palestinians.
Palestinians. And right before that, who?
Ukraine?
No. The people that didn't get vaccinated. The non-vaccinated, right? Taking their jobs away.
Yeah,
you know, people on the news and stuff talking all sorts of ways about them, right? But this is what happens when people become marginalized. And it's very dangerous because this is the marginalization of a people. From the lynching.
See that.
Right. Marginalization of a people. This comes from a book called Without Sanctuary, right? And it was a pictorial history of lynchings. And in this particular one, they said, they turned this picture into a postcard. And they said, "This is the barbecue we had last night." Okay? And people would come out, kids could get a pass from school to come and see a lynching. And they burnt this body, and they broke off pieces and handed it to people out in the crowd as a souvenir. This is the marginalization of a people. All right?
Picnic, right? Isn't that a picnic?
That's what a lot of people say.
Pick a nigga and go.
Now this is a picture right here that stays ingrained in my mind because my father showed it to me at a young age. But they burned him, right?
You're just standing there like it's nothing.
Like it's nothing. But that's what happens with a mind that is corrupted by shaitan. It is capable of any and everything. It doesn't matter what color you are. Black people abuse power and privilege too. Everybody. Okay? So that's why we have to get our souls right. We have to get what's within us right, you know, and live by the laws that Allah has given us through His scriptures and His revelations. Okay? They're not doing that. A lot of people are not doing that now. So it's very important, you know, that we begin to teach our children. It's not rocket science. We have to focus on our youth and change what's in them, because these people are programming them with all sorts of stuff. Horrible, horrible things. All right? So, inshallah, I'll be back in April 6th, April 7th. But there's so much to share with y'all.
Yes.
Because it's a couple of things that I really want to deal with for you to see. Because it will open your eyes to a lot of the things that's going on in this society. All right, so we'll close out with the Surah Al-Ikhlas. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Ameen. All right, alhamdulillah.
Well, thank you so much, Brother Rashid.
Thank
this
you,
has been
brother.
wonderful. Yes. Alhamdulillah.
I appreciate you, good brother.
We have a lot of work to do. One of the first things we need to do is get educated. So, inshallah, I want to talk to you about a program that I'm having coming up, because I'd like for you to share this information with a group of religious leaders. Part of the problem I see within our society is that, you know, we have taken approaches to solving problems that are really good efforts, but they're ineffective. We've done economic, things. We've done political things. We've done educational things. But the root of the problem is a lack of awareness of God in our relationships. So the religious community has to come together and be able to address these issues.
Absolutely.
And put our voice out there. Because everybody else is talking about what they're doing. The cultural people, the educational, the economic, the political folks. But what's absent from the discussion is the religious perspective. And of course, the Muslims, by the grace of Allah, we have the latest and the greatest revelation.
Absolutely.
But everybody has something to contribute or whatnot. So we need to get educated.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, my brother. It was wonderful.
Yes, thank you.
Everything is for Allah. And the thing is that we have to look at the solutions that Allah has given us.
Yes, exactly. That's the only way.
That's the only way.
That's it. Alhamdulillah. May Allah reward you.
Yeah, this knowledge is so needed.
Thank you for coming.
Appreciate y'all. Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Thank you for having me.
Alhamdulillah.